Hello everybody, welcome to Monarch Intuition, and tonight I'm going to be doing your June 2022 post-retrograde reading. So, a lot of people had a rough time during Mercury retrograde. I did as well. Now, it's important to understand what was significant about this Mercury retrograde. This Mercury retrograde took place in the sign of Gemini. Gemini rules communication, right? So when something goes into retrograde, it appears as though it's spinning backwards. So the planet Mercury looked like it was spinning backward during Mercury retrograde. That's what it is. Now, when Gemini is spinning backward, it can mean that communications get crossed, a lot of backstabbing energy, a lot of people starting fights with one another, a lot of miscommunication. But it actually has one of the best endings to it. When something happens in Gemini, it actually represents being at peace, a bittersweet ending. Because remember, Gemini rules the 8, 9, and 10 of swords. So the 8 of swords represents actually being trapped inside your mind or imprisoned in a real life situation. The 9 of swords represents anxiety, and the 10 of swords represents a bittersweet ending. It just represents a swift death. And the 10 of swords is important right here because he's laying on the ground, right? And the way that he's laying on the ground, the sun is rising in the background, or it's about to start rising. And when you die, you see the light, right? So it's important to understand that as he's dying, he's seeing the light, and he's also seeing the light of the sun rise in the distance. Now, yes, he is dying. Yes, he's dead, right? In some artwork, some depictions. But you have to understand that during this time period, they were happy about that. They were happy that the situation on Earth was over because a lot of them clung to religion, right? And religion was all about, if you suffer on Earth and you're a good person, then you can go to heaven. So it was honestly a blessing for them, especially during this time period where anything could kill you. The church could kill you, the bubonic plague could kill you, whatever. So it is a swift ending, however, it is bittersweet. It's over, that's great, but you're kind of looking at the picture, the great picture of things, and saying, I wonder if it could have been better. But here's the thing, doesn't matter now, it's over. So let's look at these major arcanas. I'm going to pull one major arcana to kind of get the theme of June. What is going on for everyone in the sign of June, the month of June? We have the Lovers. Oh, funny. So the Lovers represents Gemini itself, okay? So when I see the Lovers, a lot of people think it's going to be like a loving communication. I don't really represent the Lovers as a loving communication. I represent it as being divinely connected to another person or another situation within your life, okay? Because you have to understand that the minor arcanas do have cards that correspond to the major arcana. So a minor arcana version of the Lovers would be the Two of Cups, even though it's represented by Cancer. This is like a divine connection right here. So I kind of feel like in June or in the past, in retrograde, you had some sort of divine connection. Maybe you didn't see it yourself because things were going, kind of haywire in Mercury retrograde. However, I feel like something happened or is about to happen within your life that directly communicates you to something of a higher purpose, something that is important within your life down the line. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull 3 cards from the Revelations Tarot. Let's see, what's going on for everyone? What do we need to know? Now this deck does have reversals in it. For everyone unaware of how this channel works, I do like to pull 3 cards from this deck and then clarify them with a different deck. Let me flip it around a couple more times. One more shuffle. All right, we have the Chariot. We have the Lovers, wow, and we have the Tower in reversed. Okay, so we pulled 4 major arcanas right here. The Chariot represents a victory, okay? The Lovers is connecting this victory to this destruction of this tower. It's important to understand that the 10 of Swords itself, Geminian energy, it's all about that death energy. It's all about that climax to that really bittersweet ending, right? So I feel like some sort of situation was broken down. Remember, that's what the tower represents. It represents a destruction of an ideology or a situation within your life. And as long as you're not in the tower, it's possible to rebuild from this energy, okay? You can go back to the tower after it's fallen to collect your belongings and try to build a better tower somewhere else. Now, for those of you who have heavily aspected Pluto within your charts or heavily aspected Scorpio, it's important to understand that you're always going to have reinventions of yourself, okay? When things fall apart, that's actually very important because Scorpio can also be represented by the phoenix, all right? So, you know, going into the ashes and then being reborn. I actually find it funny to look at the Pluto chart rulers because Pluto chart rulers do represent a generation, okay? So for example, we had the silent generation that was like, you know, the 1930s, 1940s generation, and that was actually born under the sign of Cancer. Suffering and silence is one of Cancer's main themes. And then you had people in the 50s, which were born under the planetary, or Pluto was in the planetary body of Leo, the astrological body of Leo. And, you know, there was a lot of great change, a lot of fighting happening, a lot of things were going on, a lot of, I wouldn't say drama, but a lot of people were fighting for what they truly desired and what was right. And it's important to understand that Leo is one of the only signs, it is the only sign that actually represents a physical conflict. Even in the Five of Swords with Aquarius energy, that represents mental conflict. And then we go into Virgo energy, which is more like the 70s, which is where people were more analytical. They started thinking about things on a higher level. They started looking into the details of things like, hey, especially with Virgo being represented by a master mason, you know, the hermit, seeing things for what they truly are, seeing the fine details, seeing what was actually going on. Then you go into the sign of Libra. Libra was like, you know, the balance out between the millennials, but also to the past. So these people have like a very balanced education. They're very balanced people. Now, when we look at Scorpio, Scorpio represents constant tragedies, constant tower fallings, because remember, the tower is represented by Scorpio and Aries. So war, and then the death of war, right? So that's kind of what I'm seeing right here, is that you are connected to this death of war, connected to this ending, connected to this tragic ending. However, it seems to be happy because it's divinely connected for you with double clarification of the lovers. So let's clarify this Chariot energy. Let's look at this. I am using the Vintage Tarot if anyone is interested. So we have the Strength card, and we have the Queen of Pentacles. Let me get two more for this. We have the Four of Cups, and we have the Ten of Wands. We have the Three of Wands, and we have the Ten of Swords. Okay. So what I'm seeing with this Queen of Pentacles and Strength energy, I see that you really need to focus on your money right here. You really need to focus on having financial resources, because financial resources are what are going to give you the victory in this upcoming situation within your life. However, what you're pushing against right here is the thought of hard work. Like, you're trying to work smarter, not harder, because the Four of Cups represents you're pushing away a cup from the universe, and the Ten of Wands represents a heavy burden. The universe is trying to give you this heavy burden right here, and hopefully could bring you in some sort of resources. However, you're saying, I don't really want this heavy burden, because when you do some sort of heavy labor right here, it ends in destruction with this Ten of Swords and this Three of Wands. It's almost like you're predicting this happening. It's almost like you predicted a tragic ending, okay? So this could have been within your past right here, someone coming in trying to give you some sort of burden, like an ex or an old job or whatever, trying to come back into your life. You're saying, no, I already see the ending right here. And that's kind of what I'm getting for you, is that you are going to witness the actual ending of a situation. And you're going to sit there and say, I knew that. I'm glad I just focused on myself. So what else is going on? So I really think that you just need to focus on your work. Focus on whatever you're doing. Don't focus on any sort of new tasks, new obligations. I think you already kind of know that it's going to end in destruction. It's always going to have a bittersweet ending. Although it's something that you truly desire, this could be like your dream job, but this dream job all of a sudden has all this red tape that you didn't see before, and now you're like, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to work with that. What else is going on? We have the Four of Swords. This represents peace right here, okay? So what I'm seeing for you right now is that you really just need to focus on your peace, okay? Especially if you just watch this Ten of Swords moment happen. You just need to take a step back, reflect on the situation, and just kind of take it easy, okay? There's nothing to rush to. You actually need to heal your body right here. You need to come up with a better plan, especially if something ended within disaster right here. Just come up with a better plan for yourself. This is also Libra energy. So Libra energy is representing balance right here. You need to balance your physical state with your mental state, okay? So if your physical state is taking a toll, then your mental state will, and vice versa. So, as I said before, if you're watching this from that bittersweet energy, don't go rushing and trying to save something right here and try to save a situation. If it ended, it ended. If you saw it end, okay, good. Take a step back, reflect, and then come up with a better idea for yourself. You have the Judgment. Your life is not going to pass you by. That's what's important. Remember, the Judgment represents people being called out of the graves during the rapture right here. The angel of God blasting his trumpet, calling everyone into heaven. So you will be called out of your sleep phase right here. However, it's important that you just do not take on any extra burdens right here. In fact, you just need to push things away. If it becomes too much of a burden, if you think that the situation will probably end in tragedy, it probably will. Maybe that's what this Mercury retrograde was trying to teach you right here, is that if something from your past ended in tragedy and it came back around, you should learn that lesson that it's probably going to end in tragedy again, right? So if you learn that lesson during Mercury retrograde, you're getting to watch something happen in real life right here and say, I'm glad I didn't do that, because that could have been really bad for me. I'm glad I just kind of focused on myself, rested, relaxed, because in divine timing, God is not going to pass you by. The angels are not going to pass you by. They're going to call you back out of the sleep phase to go and do something that's more important with your life. The Six of Swords. Six of Swords represents actually traveling. You could also be having a mental vacation, just kind of vibing, kind of chilling. Not really focused on tragedy and despair right here, just kind of going on with your life. We have the Five of Cups and the Three of Swords. So Five of Cups and Three of Swords kind of represents that you're watching this happen. It's sad. You kind of wish you could have it, but at the same time, you only know that it's going to end in heartbreak, okay? You need to understand that within your life right here, especially with this going over the tower. Maybe this already happened to you with this Five of Cups and this Three of Swords. Also Libra energy, and the Five of Cups is Scorpio energy. Also that death and rebirth. So what I'm seeing with this Five of Cups is that you can't cry over spilled milk. You just have to continue to move on with your life. Look at it, reflect on it, say, okay, I understand the pros and cons of a situation. I have to balance it out. Remember, balancing things out with Libra energy, the scale energy. It's kind of tragic with this Three of Swords, the Three of Cups falling over with the Three of Swords that are piercing the heart. But here's the thing. The Four of Swords is overcoming the Three of Swords, okay? It's very symbolic when we look at it like this. The Three of Swords that pierce the heart right here, and then the Three Swords that are above his chest. But remember, he does have that fourth sword representing that you can heal from this situation. All you need to do is just give your time to recover, okay? If something that you truly desired, something that you really wanted, just kind of ended abruptly, it's probably a good thing for you, okay? So understand that. Take as much time as you need to kind of be sad, but don't miss the sadness. That's what Aurora said in her song. Don't miss the sadness when it's gone. So let's look at some more energy. What else do we need to know? We have the King of Wands, we have the King of Swords, and we have the Sun. So what I'm seeing with this King of Wands, King of Swords energy, and the sunlight, this is you coming into divine alignment with two polar opposite energies. This could be you and another person or another situation. Remember, the King of Wands represents tempering his impulses, like he really wants to get off his throne to do something. However, he knows that he's still the king. He can't act like a page, okay? The King of Swords is a man who rules intellect, right? He's usually like a judge, a doctor, a lawyer, someone who has a lot of expertise within a situation. The King of Wands and the King of Swords are coming together to kind of like merge their ideas with one another. One person wants to take action, but one person is plotting the course of action. And by doing so, they can come together under this sunlight, which represents illumination, okay? They can find illumination and harmony with one another as long as they are able to merge their ideas. Remember, the King of Swords has the butterfly above him, and the King of Wands has the lion and the lizard. So this kind of represents Aquarius energy and Leo energy coming together. And it's very important that you understand that the sun is represented by Leo and Aquarius is represented by the star, right? And so when we look at those polar opposite energies, because Leo sits down here, Aquarius sits up here, you have to understand that you have to merge those energies together because they are technically one and the same, all right? Because Aquarius rules the higher intellect, right? But without your body, you cannot have higher intellect. And you should probably take care of your body if you want to attain good things within your life. Remember, the sun is just the closest star that we have. There are plenty of other suns out there. So this is merging the ego and the higher thought together to kind of function in this cohesive unit. Underneath the sun, representing enlightenment, representing coming together of this idea, this, and bringing life to it, because that's what the sun also represents. It's important to understand that almost everything in the sun card represents death in itself, okay? Because we have the child riding the white horse, which is the white horse of death. And we have the sunflowers in the background, and we have the sun itself. What does this actually represent? Well, it represents being filled with vitality and life, but at the same time, understanding that everything will have its own ending, okay? So I kind of feel like that's the theme of this reading, is that you just need to understand that within your life, there are always going to be rebirths and there are always going to be deaths, all right? Because the child is going to grow up to die. Same thing with the horse, same thing with the sunflowers, and eventually the sun itself will burn out and die. That's what is so... What's the word I'm looking for? That's the balance of the sunlight, is that even though it represents joy, beauty, and happiness, it also in its own way represents walking towards death. But this is very harmonious energy. What else is coming out? You have death, the Two of Cups, and the High Priestess. You have to understand that whenever there is an ending within your life, that it's supposed to happen, okay? And you can't push against that. There is no point in trying to push against endings within your life. So if something is going to end and you know it's going to end, it's best to just let it go, all right? Just end the situation as peacefully as you can for all parties involved and just move on with your own lives. There's no point in trying to hold on to a toxic or a bad situation. And that's what the High Priestess is trying to illuminate to us with this Two of Cups, is that in life, there's also death. Because remember, she has the white pillar. I forgot what they represent. They're Jewish. I think they represent, not altars. Synagogues? Could be altars. Anyway. But as you see right here, this is the yin and yang. This is the polarity between the situation. You have the black pillar with the white bee, the white pillar with the black jay. This represents masculinity, sunlight does. This represents femininity, Scorpio energy. So Leo and Scorpio energy, right? But the High Priestess represents seeing things from a higher perspective, or the highest perspective. She's kind of like the person that has the Rolodex of your life when you die, right? And she's going to allow you to watch your life play out and how every single situation merged into this ending, merged into what you call your own life. And I feel like that's what the High Priestess wants you to understand, is that through life, there is always going to be an ending. You can't stop that, right? So it's best to enjoy what you have right here, best to enjoy your own life, and understand that that is just a natural cause, life and death. That is the polarity, that is the duality, that's masculinity, femininity. And you have to understand that you have to bridge these energies together with one another. And I feel like that's what the King of Swords is also wanting you to understand right here, is on an intellectual level, understand your own mortality, understand the Earth's mortality, understand that there is a time period on every relationship, on everything that you do, on every job, on every flower that you pick, on every pet that you have. There's an expiration date. And that can be a very upsetting way to look at things, but that's what the High Priestess wants you to understand, especially if this ended. Gosh, my cat. It's funny because she kind of looks like the High Priestess. She's a tuxedo cat. Anyway. And remember, the High Priestess was a mockery card to the Pope. When we talk about a mockery card, the High Priestess was originally called the Popess, and obviously there's never been a Popess before, so she was supposed to be a female that sits at the same level as the Pope, which was unheard of during this time period, and the way, especially since the way that Christianity, Judaism, and Islam treated women during this time period. Anyway, moving on. They were supposed to be subservient. They weren't allowed to speak within the churches or the synagogues or the mosques. What else is going on? So I kind of see, like, have you ever heard that old hymn, Farther Along? If you've never heard the hymn Farther Along, that's what I'm hearing right now, is that you definitely need to listen to that and understand that you'll understand it more by and by. Like, that's the theme of this, Farther Along. Okay? Yes, it's a very tragic ending. Yes, it's caused destruction. Yes, it caused heartbreak. Yes, you're sitting there kind of like with an emotional lack. But at the same time, understanding that this was possibly one of the best things that could have happened for you, all you need to do is look and seek enlightenment right here. Seek the Two of Cups that are behind you. Because you're wiser now. I'm not going to call you kings, okay? I'm not going to call you queens. I'm not going to call you that. I'm saying that you have this energy, kind of like a king, where you're able to temper your impulse right here, okay? You're able to sit there, maybe in your own home, your own car, whatever, and think about things from a higher perspective. Say, okay, I understand why this had to end. The High Priestess, she wants you to see things on like the Akashic record level, okay? If you don't know what the Akashic record is, go and look that up. If you do believe in reincarnation, if you don't, then you don't have to. It's just something that you can do if you want to. What else is going on? We have the Two of Pentacles, we have the Ace of Cups, and we have the Chariot. So what I'm seeing with the Two of Pentacles, this situation is about to be balanced out for you, okay? So if you had a bad situation, understand that that's how the universe works. When something good happens, something bad has to happen. It has to be equaled out. Sometimes you have a lot of minor, small, good things happen, and then one major calamity happens within your life. That is the law of equivalent exchange. That's it. Like, if you have one good thing happen, understand that there is something that sad will probably happen, okay? Two of Pentacles balancing out the situation and representing infinity. If you haven't seen that before. The Ace of Cups is, you know, the universe coming down and blessing you with some sort of emotional happiness. And the Chariot does represent victory. So I kind of think that this theme is, don't take it too harshly. Take the lesson as it came to you, okay? Or as it's coming to you. Understand that there will always be endings, especially in Mercury retrograde. That's why it's important not to sign contracts. It's important to not get back with your exes. It's important to not do things during Mercury retrograde. And if you didn't, that's a good thing. You're seeing things happen on a higher perspective. You're seeing things take place in real time right now. And you're saying, I'm glad I wasn't in that tower when it decided to fall. Ultimately, that is your victory by tempering your impulses. Ultimately, that is the victory by seeing the light with the sun. Understanding that with every new beginning, there has to be an equal ending to it. Understanding that, yes, it feels good in the moment that when you receive it, but ultimately that happiness can be taken away. However, I do see that a new blessing is coming for you with this Chariot and the Ace of Cups right here. However, you still have to understand that even if you are happy in the moment that you receive it, it goes away. That is the ebb and flow of life. Now, let me get you a couple of Awakened cards. We have light heart. Learn to take these things with light hearts, okay? It's funny because my generation, especially the millennials that share the Pluto and Scorpio, we try not to take things too seriously, okay? Like, we could go to a funeral and it could be all sad and whatever, and then at the end just crack jokes and go out to eat. Like, it's a nihilistic way of looking at things. It really is. However, you have to understand that these are natural things that happen to people. These are natural occurrences within life. And people who are born under the sign of Scorpio, especially if you have Scorpio moons or Scorpio risings, Scorpio moons tend to lose their partners, their first partners. Scorpio risings tend to lose their parents. Scorpio Plutos tend to always have to reinvent the fucking wheel. But here's the thing about reinventing the wheel, is that when you reinvent something for yourself, you can make it better. Think of like a pack of playing cards. 52 playing cards, right? How many games can you do with the exact same pack of cards? You can do a lot. You can play poker, ace, or spades, blackjack, Texas Hold'em, I think that's poker, whatever. There's so many other games that you can play. Go Fish, that's what I play. So even if you have to face the destruction, understand that you can rebuild it into something much better than what it was. Reinventing the wheel, reinvent yourself. Reinvent a situation for you. We have Blaze a Trail. Okay, so just continue to keep moving forward within your life. Take as much time as you need to kind of like recover from whatever this was. Or if you're just in a natural reflective state right here, take as much time as you need to just have some time for yourself. And then when you are ready, you can take the fourth sword that is underneath the bed and charge back out into the battle, okay? And sparkling synchronicities, understand that it's just the ebb and flow of how everything works within the universe. Now let me get you a couple of which is familiar oracle cards. We have otter dexterity, and we have mouse advantage. Roll with the punches right here. I feel like you have an advantage in the end, okay? Just continue to keep moving forward. I feel like you have a way to balance out any situation that the universe kind of throws at you right now, or things that people throw at you. Don't really focus on this new victory ahead, okay? Don't really focus on anything in your past. Look at the situation, see it for what it was, and then continue to move forward. I see that you have a lot of new opportunities, especially within the emotional realm, because remember, Chariot is ruled by Cancer. Cancer does rule a lot of emotional states, right? And you do have double clarification of the Lovers. I feel like it's safe to start connecting with people again, okay? But don't allow yourself to ever be thrown back into a situation like this, especially if you see red flags popping up. Whether it's in work, whether it's in love, whether it's whatever, okay? A bitter ending, you learned a lesson, never go back to that type of situation again. Move forward, things are playing out to your advantage right here. Sparkling synchronicities with the world representing that even if you do receive something good, it will always end too. It just doesn't have to end as violently. Like, you could always go out the Ten of Swords way, or could you just pass away peacefully in your sleep? Like, just because something ends doesn't mean it has to be like a horrible, violent ending like the Tower, okay? Now, let me get you a couple of spellcasting oracle cards. Yep. We have commitment, and we have friendship. This is honestly a warning situation right here, because in this deck, commitment actually, it's represented by the dove and the raven, right? The dove representing life, being from God, the raven obviously being death and from the devil, however you want to view that. I don't really view death as being from the devil, because it's called the angel of death, right? However, you need to be aware that in any type of commitment, that's the situation of it falling apart, okay? So be aware if you go out and decide to make friendships right here, especially friendships that aren't built on solid communication or on solid friendship, right? Or solid sharing of ideas, mutual exchange of ideologies, energies. Try to find people who you are truly committed with. Now, with this Lover's energy, I want you to understand that this is a divine connection. Sorry, I'm getting tripped up with my words. Hold on. This is a divine connection for you. So with the divine connection, what it represents is that this is what the universe, the laws, the angels, God, whoever, has decreed for you to come into alignment with, whether it's friendship groups, whether it's a person, whether it's a new job, whatever within your life. But I do see you being very happy with it, and I do see you understanding what the Chariot is, having that victory for yourself. But you learned a lesson, maybe through a lot of struggle right here. So let me get you these. Shuffle it up one more time. We have Skull of Stars, Infinite Possibilities, and we have Cauldron, Synergy and Healing. The infinite possibilities with the Skull of Stars, I always like to associate this card to the Ace of Pentacles, right? The Ace of Pentacles is like a gift being given to you from the universe, and that can also represent this Queen of Pentacles right here, focusing on your own money. focusing on having a stable background, a stable check coming in, or a stable, nest egg. I feel like money is very critical to your life right here. It really does open up a lot of doors for you. It does give you the infinite possibilities. So at any point within your life where you can focus on your career, start focusing on your career. Maybe you're at that dead-end job that you truly hate and you're just like, I want to do this. Well, how do you get there? Well, you have to put in a lot of hard work in something. Sometimes it requires you to open up a side business. Sometimes it requires you to actually sit down and learn something. Go to college while you go to work full-time. Like, it could be hard. However, the Skull of Stars is the infinite possibilities representing a new beginning for you, and it can turn into anything. Remember, the aces can turn into whatever energies they need to be. With this cauldron synergy and healing, that does represent the Four of Swords, okay? Rest. Take this post-retrograde energy a day at a time. Feel at peace. A lot of people, it just went from like 100 to 0 all at once, right? And everyone's kind of sitting there like, say you're on a roller coaster, right? And the roller coaster ends and people are like out of breath. They kind of just, there's that moment where everyone is silent. No one's really talking. That's kind of what this energy is, all right? Enjoy it. Because people are kind of, starting to wake back up, starting to get back into the, the grind of things, right? So take this time to just relax, recover. The universe is not going to pass you by. I don't really see that people are going to be wanting too much of your time and attention, especially if you just speak that you need time to rest for yourself. Or maybe just take a couple of days vacation. But you do need to do some healing right here. You do need to do some reflection. I'm not going to say you don't need to do that, so take as much time as you need. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I'll talk to you later.